All right, guys, what's going on? This is Monday morning, Monday early afternoon. We're going on 11 a.m. here. So this is a holiday here in Australia. We call it a long weekend. So I didn't work today. I had Monday off, so I didn't do my early morning live stream. This one, we could talk about what happened this past weekend in boxing, and then as you can read the thumbnail and see the photo, we could talk a little bit about what lies ahead. If you're in my Discord, you'll know that I've already been starting the conversation for this week's fights. I put the odds up in the Discord as well. I shared with you boys. I think there's going to be at least two upsets regarding what the bookmakers have right now, who the favorites, who the underdogs are. I disagree with the odds at the moment, and we know usually the odds will shift as we get closer to the weekend based off of where the money is coming in on. We have the Duran Ennis card in Philly. We have the Allen versus Arslanbek card in Sheffield, England. There's a lot of interesting fights on both of those undercards, and we'll get into it all week. As you guys are tapping in, let me know where you're coming in from. Make sure you hit a thumbs up for the video. Also, if you haven't joined the Discord, boys, the link is pinned here in the comment section. Click that link, couple bucks a month, you become a Johnny Says Boxing insider as well, and you get more access on my channel, you get more access on social medias, and you become a member of our Discord. We're growing. We have about 250 people now in the Discord, so I say thank you. This is my favorite part of social media. You guys know that is my live stream boxing YouTube section and my Discord, so I thank you guys. We'll get to some of the questions here. We got Julius O'Doherty, amateur background made the difference. Yeah, guys, he's talking about, Julius is talking about the Gatlin fight. I told you guys not to bet it. I told you I wasn't going to bet Gatlin O'Doherty, and I heard it was a pretty shit fight. I didn't wager on it, but O'Doherty, his amateur experience, the money, we could talk, dude. We could talk about what happened with Nathaniel Collins. The only fight. We have two options here in Australia, by the way. Let me clarify this. So I put all my bets now on Bet365. So I won, but I didn't post about it because I'm not happy that the Nathaniel Collins fight was a draw. Some of the other boys in Australia use Sportsbet, which the odds on Sportsbet, you'll get a little bit juicier than the Bet365 odds, but a draw loses your bet. And so with that being said, I picked Collins to win. He won. I picked Hutchinson to win. Willie Hutchinson did exactly what we thought he was going to do. And then I took Cecilia Brækhus, Iwata, Zembakov, Barrera, Kane Sandoval. So I hit a cheeky 10 leg. But if you would have put it in Bet365, you would have won. The payout wasn't that good, but it was still a victory. And if you're an Aussie who took Collins on the money line and you use Sportsbet, you lost, which upsets me. I watched that fight. I just got off talking to Chilltown, TJ. In the Discord, we were literally talking about the Collins versus Lorente fight. I watched, while it was happening, I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I had no doubt in my mind going into the final judges' scorecards that Collins had won a UD, right? I had a majority. I had given him 7-5, and I thought I was being kind. I just rewatched it. I have Collins winning 8-4, and this is what I told DJ. And I'm not looking for sympathy here as a boxing fan, but it's really hard to believe that an A-side could go into a fight in his hometown, looks really good, does what he has to do, made a couple mistakes in the mid-rounds, was sort of slugging it out when he didn't have to slug it out, was kind of boxing down to Lorente. I feel that, like, Collins kept Lorente competitive based off of the sort of willingness for Collins to trade. But all in all, Lorente didn't do anything to win that fight. Where are we in boxing, especially in the UK, the British Board of Boxing, to where you have the A-side in his hometown, you have the belt on the line, you know, the winner gets probably a massive fight next, and you call it a draw? I mean, I've seen draws before. I don't really get mad with decisions. and this has nothing to do with me picking Nathaniel Collins to win that fight. I just thought that was an awful. How do you give him 6 rounds? Like what 6 rounds do you give Lorente? You know, because that's what we have to do. If it's a draw, you have to then show me 6 rounds. It's kind of like, how do we have boxing judges? How do we have people judging a sport who've never boxed before? This is the biggest travesty of our sport, and we know there's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? We know that we could come off on top right now, a list of things that boxing needs to change in order for our sport to sort of get a facelift. One of them, the most important thing that boxing has to change, is the judging. The judges. I don't even care if you're scoring, you know, jabs, power shots, if you're scoring front foot pressure. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how are we allowing people to judge a sport like boxing who have never boxed? How could we expect somebody to judge a dance competition if they don't dance? One of my buddies here, he's a hip hop dancer, right? And so a couple months ago, I went to a cypher with him to film, and there was this popular LA-based dancer who came to Sydney to do these seminars, and my buddy called him out, and so I filmed that entire thing. But during the seminar, they're doing these battles, right? And you got judges judging them, but the judges are also dancers because it's absolutely subjective. Boxing, this is dancing. You have dancing judges who are dancers. You have people judging musical competitions who are musicians. We have boxing judges who judge fights and score fights who don't box. What are we? That is insane to me. To this day, it's insane to me, and it always will be. All right, boys, you're checking in. Do you think Manny R, Juned Boston? I don't know, man. You know what, Manny R, give me a couple more minutes to rant, and then we'll get to this weekend's fights. Caveman versus Lazy Boy, no distance. What's up, Skeezy? Come on, the White Rhino. Dave Allen in the house. Pedro, how'd you feel about the Pereira Uncle Love rematch? I got to be honest with you. I really didn't watch it. I didn't watch the UFC this weekend. This is a holiday weekend, so my girl and I went to the horse races. We had a little staycation. We did some family stuff. So I didn't watch the UFC. The only fight card I watched was boxing. Guys, first and foremost, I love the UFC. I love MMA. I cover the fights. I'm a boxing guy first, though. Boxing's my first love. So when I have a short weekend or I have a lot of stuff on, first and foremost, always is boxing first. Collins versus Lorente wasn't close, but Collins for sure lost the last 3 rounds. Career on the line. I think Junior will win. Skeezy Atlas ran a petition once to have Xboxers to be judges. Afro Jam, are you all right? Collins lost them rounds. He was getting outworked big time. The CompuBox shows a split between the first and last 6. I don't know, man. I don't know. I disagree, man. I definitely did. I couldn't find 6 rounds to give to Lorente, bro. Collins was clearly gassed from round 6. He kind of, it's not that he gassed. He tried to get him out of there. He kind of took a round off in the middle. I can see judges giving Lorente credit for the mid-round flurries, but Collins landed cleaner and harder punches. Makey Crazy, what's up? Speaking of dancing, who was the Aussie woman who scammed her way to throw the Olympics in breakdancing? I think her boyfriend was, yeah, you're right. You're right, that chick. So it wasn't that her boyfriend was a judge, Makey Crazy. What happened was when the dancing controversy, when they announced that breakdancing was going to be in the Olympics a couple years ago, Australia, there wasn't a breakdancing organization. So in order to petition for sports or your country to represent a sport, you have to have a proper organization filed on record. So that girl and her boyfriend started an organization 2 years prior with this in mind. So that's kind of how it went. What do you mean we need lawyers and accountants as judges? King of Fitness, 1-242 yesterday. Get your money, boy. But Collins' draw took the total round. Would have been 420, but lost 50 because the Cardinals. Yeah, I was watching football. So, guys, it's no secret. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye, and I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. So I watched Arizona shit the bed, and there's no. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan. There's nothing. I'm never going to feel sympathy for other fan bases just because I'm from Cleveland. We got the Browns just totally just shit a game away again. Andresa Bansalan, Johnny, do you think Lima is durable enough? I do, man. Andresa Bansalan, we're gonna get to this. So we're gonna give me some time. We got a long week ahead. I'm gonna get to Boots and Lima. I just watched Lima's only loss is to Aaron McKenna. You guys know how I feel about Aaron McKenna. I think Aaron McKenna is a future world champion. I think Aaron McKenna is that dude. And he fought Aaron McKenna to a decision. The scorecards were pretty wide, so it's not like it was that competitive. I'll get to that in a second. The odds right now on Boots to stop Lima is $1.23. So in terms of risk versus reward, are we really going to get excited to win $23 on a $100 bet for Boots to stop Lima? If anything, the play would probably not to even bet that fight, or Boots by decision. Now, from a risk versus reward perspective, that's probably the bet I'm going to lean on, and I'll explain to you all week. The only GK, I want to pick Dave Allen to win this weekend, but I just can't see it. I could definitely see Dave Allen winning. I could see it. I think Arslanbek, I was talking about this the last few weeks. Arslanbek, man, he doesn't do anything well, for me at least. The tape I watch, I have it right here, I'm watching. The tape on Arslanbek isn't good. It's not like he's fast. He's just really, really big. Your boy going to the Boots fight. Nice, man. Birthday in Philly, the Illidale. You have fun there, man. There's some good fights on that card, too. We got Zaquan. Zaquan's fighting on that undercard. There's a lot of the nice little prospects from America. This is why I like Boots with the pairing with Eddie. This will be Boots' third fight already in Philly since Eddie in Matchroom. And what does Boots do? He gets to co-promote his Boots promotion with Matchroom, and then he also gets to put all of his young bucks on his fight cards. Have you seen the scorecards of ex-fighters? Afro Jam, I'm not saying, in Afro Jam, I appreciate your perspective here. And Afro Jam does pose a very important question and debate for me. I wish we could come on and talk. I'll bring you on to talk about this, actually. But I'm not saying the judges have to be former world champions. I'm not even saying the judges have to have a box rec. I'm not even saying the judges have to have any sort of pro boxing or amateur boxing experience. What I am saying, there should be systems in place to be a boxing judge that the checks and balances should be aligned with knowing what a jab looks like, knowing how to throw a punch, maybe taking a course, maybe doing a weekend course on boxing, or knowing what footwork is, knowing what a setup is. Do you know what a feint is? Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? Like, and making all of this sort of super transparent for the fans, and then holding the judges accountable with statistics. Like, all right, these three guys are judging the fight, or these two guys and a girl, over their last 20 fights that they've judged, the fans have voted 78%. The judge was wrong on here, and only 22% of their last 10 fights that they judged, the fans thought they got it right. There needs to be checks and balances or something. There needs to be education. So, and I agree with you, Afro. I've seen some terrible takes all the time when you have pro fighters in the commentary booth. You're going to get, biased takes depending on what country the fighter that they're letting talk about the fight comes from, where they are in their career. Is the fighter a salty former champion who got sparked against old mate who's fighting training part? So I get it. That's not what I mean, but it's a good point you bring up. PJ, that star looks good on you, playa. DJ Green, what's good, brother? Skeezy, Arslan is big uncoordinated teddy bear. Yeah, I think Dave Allen, man. Dude, I put up in the Discord 3 fights already. There might be 4 dogs that I think will be barking. Guido is a dog. Dave Allen is a dog. I think people are... Here's another fight, since we're already getting into the crux of this coming weekend. Don't overlook... Guys, Bilal Fawaz, did you watch the Boston Bilal Fawaz first fight? I mean, I gave that fight to Fawaz. Whatever. He's 92 years old. Whatever. We've seen, Nonito Donaire do it recently. We've seen Frankie Rod. Frankie Rod was, 34, even though he was on the gear. The old heads, Manny Pacquiao looked good. Bilal Fawaz, 36, 37. I thought he beat Boston in the first fight. He's a $3.45 dog. I'm like, dude, I think the odds makers have this wrong. I got to be honest with you. And then another fight people are sleeping on is Jose Vasquez. People think that Tamir Smalls is just going to dog walk Jose Vasquez. I'm not saying Tamir Smalls is going to lose. I'm just saying when we're looking at odds right now, it's worth watching your tape, boys, on Vasquez. That's going to be a tough fight. I don't think Vasquez should be a 5-1 dog at the moment. So Dave Allen's going to bring it to him. Johnny, man, I know your pick. Guido Vanello. Dude, Guido is a tough pro, man. Guido is a former Olympian. We watched Guido versus Kiki Torres more recently. Fought him to a decision. I'm taping that currently, Andresa. So, guys, I'm uploading currently in the next 48 hours on my channel. So make sure you hit the notification button so you don't miss the Stats Don't Lie videos. I'm doing, obviously, Boots' fight, Guido's fight. I'm doing Dave Allen's fight. I got a lot of work to do. Word on the grapevine is Kiki Torres is fighting Frank Sanchez. Dude, and if that goes down, because we know that Frank Sanchez wanted to fight Moses. And I'm not saying that Moses would lose to Frank, but Frank is nobody's putting their hand up to fight Frank Sanchez. So if that's true, it kind of just further proves my point on why, Kiki Torres is one of my favorite American fighters at the moment. No, it wasn't even a split between the first and last 6. Collins been in Scotland and still couldn't win. Yeah, we're just going to have to disagree on that, mate. I just couldn't find. At most, I found 4 rounds to give to Lorente. Beck jumps on his opponent fast and knocks them out. Look at Murder versus Brown fights was over. Yeah, PJ. So Arslan Beck, Dave Allen said on his Instagram, he could get starched in the first 3 minutes. But Dave Allen's a character, man. Boots has only fought one. I know. FX coaching, 100%, man. Well, I'm not going to sit here and try to debunk Boots' resume. It's not like at 147, every fighter in the world was putting their hand up to fight Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? And Jaron Ennis is one of my favorite fighters in this era. I mean, Karen Chukachin is a tough out for anybody. Karen Chukachin is a tough guy to beat. Ava Nishin is not an easy win. Ava is a tough guy to beat. He's long in the tooth now, but, Boots fought him a couple years back. Then, Stanionis. I still think Stanionis at 47 could beat a couple current world champions. So I'm not going to sit here and try to debunk Boots' resume on why he's like whatever you guys want to call him. I don't think he's overrated. I think Boots is one of the best fighters in boxing. But I wouldn't be so quick to think that he's just going to stop Lima. You know what I mean? It's a new division. Lima's fought, he's fought it. I just checked his box rec. He weighed in 1 or 2 fights at 160 pounds before. This fight's at 54. Lima has a lot, good 12-round experience. His only losses to Aaron McKenna, guys. We know about Aaron McKenna. Aaron McKenna's a dog, and McKenna took him to a decision. So if we're trying to play boxing maths, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, guys, just to clarify the odds, Ennis to win by knockout is $1.26. Ennis to win a decision is $4.50. I mean, it's his first fight going up to 54. He's going to be in front of his home crowd. We're going to see how he deals with the new division. I'm just not. I don't see a lot of value in betting heavy on Boots by knockout when you're only getting, $1.23 back. It's not. The risk versus reward isn't there. There's not a lot of juice there. Yeah, so you mean boxing judges should have entered? There should be something. There should be a conversation about boxing judges, boys. Afro Jam, the obvious corrupt judges need to go to prison. Corruption is basically a joke. Match fixing and cricket is taken far more seriously than boxing. Guys, match fixing and horse racing is insane. I brought it up on my channel a couple times before about what happens with horse racing, bro. So like one of my clients, who's a mate of mine, he over the last few years he's part of a syndicate. So he has ownership in about 5 horses now. So when we go to the races, we get we get owners' seats. So the veil has kind of been opened up for me to sort of learn about the very niche subculture of horse racing. So you think boxing's corrupt, boy. Horse racing's insane. History Vault, what's good, man? What I find odd, judges are never in the media. I know. We need more transparency, boys. That's what I mean. History Vault, we don't know them in the media. We need more transparency. We want to know. I want their stats, dude. Can we get some BoxRec stats on judges? and then have some interaction with fans, and then hold them accountable. Put it this way, guys. After our horse raced 2 days ago, win, lose, or draw, after the horse races, you go to the stable where all the media is there, and you have your jockey, and you have your owners and the syndicate, and the jockey, win, lose, or draw, has to do interviews. You know what I mean? So it has to talk to you, has to talk to the owners, has to talk to the press. It's like we need to do that with judges. And we need to do it in a way, though, that it's constructive and it's education is the key here. It might be only one dog this weekend. PJ, I'm not saying that all the dogs will be barking, but think about it. In terms of what money we're getting back on a bet, all we need every week is one dog to win. You know what I'm saying? Afro Ennis is an idiot struggling with lesser-known opponents versus more known is stupid in the terms of marketing. I wouldn't call him an idiot and struggling with lesser-known opponents. When you say lesser-known opponents, are you saying he's struggling with some guy that the mainstream doesn't know? Because I wouldn't say just because a guy's lesser-known doesn't mean that they're not world-class. Will in the house. Will Bonin, what's up, buddy? Jose Vasquez is definitely a solid step up in competition for smalls. He looked sharp in his last outing where he pulled off the upset. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Jose Vasquez is a 5-1 dog at the moment. Tamir Smalls is in a dogfight. McKenna versus Lima was a lot closer than the scorecards. This is what I'm talking about, Afro. I'm halfway through the full fight. I put up in the Discord. I was welcoming everybody in the Discord. If you watched, I want your opinion on the tape of Lima versus McKenna. Guys, we're going between 20 and 40 people. Could you like the video? I know a lot of you guys, we just get right into this and we start chatting shit. But could you do a thumbs up and like this video? 32 people with 4 people liking is depressing. Hurts my feelings a bit. Let's get these likes up, mate. Julius, Lima never been knocked down. I'm leaning the over. I like the over, Julius. And what it's going to come down to, Julius, then it'll be like, what reward do we like more? Do we like the over at X odds? We can do it right now. Because the decision is 450. Round betting markets. Total rounds in fight. The over 7. See, that might be the play, Julius. I think, Julius, I think this might be the play, guys. This might be my prop of the week. Over 7.5 is $1.89. Because I'm already falling in love with Booth by decision at 450. So when I see over 7.5 at $1.89, I get real big-eyed. You remember the first prop bet? I always have to bring this up so you guys know where I stand. The first prop bet I ever bet over $100 on, it was way more than that, was when Josh Kelly to knock out Flavio Bea. I always reference that because that's my timeline of betting heavy on props, right? And I got Josh Kelly to knock out Flavio Bea at $1.89. I made a lot of money on that bet, and that kind of changed the trajectory of my focus just doing long money line parlays to now seeking out what we're doing here, these sort of $1.89. So you put $1,000 on the fight to go over 7.5, you get your money back plus $900. I like that bet a lot, Julius. It's a good call. Johnny, early prediction on Gary. Ryan Hong, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you on the live chat. I love the Gary Antoine Russell versus Andy Hiroka fight. I got to give me a week or so, though. But you guys know I'm a big GAR fan. Andy Hiroka's a goddamn dog, though. Not as young as he used to be, though. The judges might be contractually obliged to stay quiet. Maybe. But we need to change that, though, Afro. That's what I'm talking about. Vianello and Canadian will be a slugfest. I like the over 0.5 knockdowns. PJ says, I agree, but who was the dog last week? It was the boxer who beat Collins Jr. Oh, I didn't bet. I told you guys not to. I didn't bet that fight, PJ. You're talking about, I told you don't bet Steve Collins Jr. Guys, I didn't bet a lot last week. I stayed away from Steve Collins Jr. You guys were betting Regan Glacken. What are you guys doing, dude? Bro. And I told you not to bet Steve Collins Jr. fought a guy who was 3-2. You know what I'm saying? So like we're trying to figure out our best plays. And you know, I'm not betting every single goddamn if the fights don't look good, If it's a 3-2 guy versus a 7-6 guy, why bet it? Is Padley via knockout a lock? Now, Reese Bellotti, what are we doing with Reese, Moore? You know what I'm saying? Is Reese cashing out? We just saw Bellotti get stopped against Gardner, and Bellotti is what, 35 now? 36? Padley, when you're looking at trends, Padley's the one going here, Bellotti's going here. Is a knockout a lock? I don't know if a knockout is a lock, but I'm going to be breaking that fight down. Afro Jam, Lima is good. I expect him to give Boots serious problem. The fans will keep putting pressure on him. Padley versus Bellotti going to be a shootout, no distance. All right. I like it. I mean, guys, if Ryan Gardner stops Bellotti, I mean, Padley, I would probably tip Padley over Gardner, and I'm a Ryan Gardner guy. I'd like to see that fight. I love the over 6.5, 7.5 looks nice too. Afro, Boacek might not even be better than Lima. You know what? And this is why our sport's so brutal, guys, because Boacek 3 years ago, but the Boacek version we saw just now, we talked about him, man. He's a wet noodle. And I use the term wet noodle as a baseball reference. We would say wet noodle as a baseball reference when a pitcher, when their arm is shot. Throughout a long season, whether you're playing high school ball, college ball, and even at the pro level, at least in my generation, my era, we had no pitch counts, dude. I remember being 14 years old throwing, 90 pitch innings, 90 pitch games in like 30-degree weather in the cold in Northeast Ohio. And like my arm would just be dead, dude. And then over time, you see guys with noodle arms, they got nothing on it. And so like when I call Boacek, his everything, his durability, we saw that coming. I think Lima would, Lima has his hands full with Boots though. Boots ain't all that defensive. He's not. He gets hit a lot. I won betting against Collins. There you go, Chris. So you win, but I'm glad you won. So did Steve Collins Jr. lose? I didn't watch these fights. Because I did my last live stream last week, I did tell you guys I wasn't going to bet on Steve Collins Jr. He's fighting a 3-2 guy. He probably could lose. Did he lose? I don't know. Boots' defense, his athleticism, more weight, going to slow him down. He's what you would call he has like a reflex fighter style. Boots got a lot of knockouts before the 7th round. Yeah, but I mean, when you can't just equate his entire resume for the pick. You know what I mean? A lot of knockouts happen early in a guy's career when they're trying to build their guy up. This is only 10 rounds. Can you go live every week with either? I'm going live with TJ's already booked in. So TJ's booked in. I'll hit up. I got to respond back to Breaking Bad and Muscles for sure. I'm going live twice. I'm going live I go live every day always, but this week I'm doing twice a day to get back to normal. He lost 60 to 55. Dude, Steve Collins Jr., dude, what are we doing, right? I'm watching Arslanbek. Wow, he's back. I told you guys. Guys, David with the nice teal star. Get your star, boys. Come on. Join our Discord. Become a member. Couple bucks a month. The link is pinned in the comment section below. David is watching tape right now. Arslanbek. What are you seeing with Arslanbek, guys? I like what I saw with Dave Allen, dude. Dave Allen, he's been stopped before, but he's never been on the canvas. Did you guys know that? A little FYI. How many times has Dave Allen been on the canvas? 0. His corner is either stop the fight or, a standing count. But never been on the canvas. He's a tough dude. He's in shape now. He's in shape. I like what he's saying. I don't know, man. I think he's going to have the hand speed. He could crack. I mean, look at his resume. He's been in there with some good guys. I like the Lucas Brown knockout. Lucas Brown was the first ever Aussie World Heavyweight Champion. Lucas Brown's still fighting in bare knuckle. Lucas Brown was no pushover. Lucas Brown was a 6'7" big dude with footwork, fights on his toes, could crack. Big Daddy Brown. That's a nice win for Dave Allen. And I know he has mixed results, and you could combat that win with a couple really questionable losses. But then I could combat the questionable losses with focus, discipline, and not having both feet all the way in. And he does now. He talks about it quite often. Follow his social media. I think he's worth a sprinkle. I think he's worth a sprinkle. I think that's where I'm going with my money. Arslanbek going to try to murder him early. Skeezy, Arslanbek has lost to Scary Ara. That's all he had. Dave Allen for the win. So Dave Allen is the dog of the week. I'll post that. I'm leaning on it. I've liked Dave Allen for the last 3 weeks. Lucas Brown lives near me. I see him all the time. He's doing bare. No, I had Lucas Brown on my last podcast, man. He's a cool dude. Lucas Brown is a beast. Julius, Dave Allen has quit before, and remember, he retired before. He's only 33. 33 is a baby in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? Yeah, Sprinkle, he might be worth the bag. Yeah, Dave Allen's still, dude, the heavyweight, a 33-year-old heavyweight is not old, man. At 33, especially you give me a 33-year-old heavyweight with the resume he has, building confidence. He put his hand up for this fight. It's not like the sanctioning bodies did their whole sort of threats. This wasn't the case. It was Dave Allen who went like, I want that dude. And I think it's a good fight for him. I do. Whoever, like Dave Allen's handlers, I think this is a good fight for him. I like this fight for him. I think I think he could showcase. I think he could showcase a lot of things. Dude, he gets past this guy, then he's fighting now. He's entering that territory of real wealth. You know what I mean? For his career, he's entering that legacy territory, at least in the British scene, which he, locally, he already has locally, but then you go from locally, what is he, Sutherland? And shout out to Tony Jeffries. Tony Jeffries is an old friend of mine. He was a bronze medalist, British boxer. He had to retire when he was, I think, 10-0 due to hand injuries. He's from Sunderland. Joshua Kelly, same area. I think, I might be wrong. I think Allen's from near there. Maybe somebody could clarify. Either way, Dave Allen gets past Arslanbek. My point was, he has a lot to fight for. You know what I'm saying? You got to expect the most motivated version of him. He was, I like what we saw against Johnny Fisher. I like what I'm seeing online. I like what I'm seeing in the training. I like his hand speed. I like his power. And there's something about him that's, not all fighters have this sort of ability to be, I guess, engaging with their fans. And I'm not a fan, but I'm saying, like, when he's going into a fight at this stage of his career, I'm actually a believer that at least he'll be prepared. Because at one time he said he wasn't. And so for a fighter to be that honest, saying that, like, in the past, I haven't really been prepared, I've just gone to get a check, and now I'm super switched on and locked in, and then I mix that with what he looked like recently, I actually believe him. And I think the best version of Dave Allen beats Arslanbek. I do, man. I know it sounds stupid to say fighters don't take fights seriously, but Dave really hasn't took his career serious most of the time, but he is the best shape. Yeah, Kiza. PJ, he might be betting on himself to lose. Nah, PJ. Betting on yourself to lose is crazy work, man. This isn't Pulp Fiction. Got good defense, hard to hit him clean, but could crack for sure. Dave got good defense, hard to hit him clean, but could crack for sure. Yeah, I mean, both Allen and Arslanbek are big, uncoordinated. I mean, what are we saying then, Julius? You know what I mean? Like, if that, with that take, are we just doing a live stream to clown heavyweight boxers? What's your point, dude? Are you not going to bet it? I think there's good value here to bet. I know. That's what I'm saying. Dave is at. That's my point. Dave he's very coordinated for a heavyweight. He can move. He's fit. He's athletic. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Dave Allen, I don't think there's a lot of guys that are putting their hand up to fight him. Dave Allen presents some real issues to a lot of heavyweights in the top 25, 100%. The heavyweight division, obviously, it's no secret. Look at how many Brits, look at how many top 25 heavyweights are coming out of the UK at this moment. And so people could take, say what you will about, because what we like to do as boxing fans is sort of diminish. What we like to do as boxing fans is to diminish a fighter's wins and also oversell their losses. So that's something that I never do, and I kind of will call people out for that. Like, what sort of mindset then are we operating on if we're gonna dissect a boxer's wins? It's happened already on this live stream with like Boots, and then when they do lose, we just throw them away and then oversell that loss. Why are we really fans then if we're doing that, or are we just haters? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? I'm not. It's just it's a thought experiment to ask ourselves, what are we really doing here? Because when we're dissecting film study and we're looking, what we're doing here is we're trying to make money and be accurate. And I like being correct, and I like giving my perspective on fight per fight, what's in front of us stylistically. I think Dave Allen is. I think the odds have it wrong here with him being the underdog. I like this bet because let's see. I talked about this last week. Allen's wins, right? Johnny Fisher, overhyped bum. Fraser Clark, that was a head scratcher. But Fraser Clark, he came in at 270 pounds. 6'7", 270 pounds. You know what I mean? These guys are so big. All it does is. And Fraser Clark got stopped against Fabio Wardley, but then he stops Tete. Fraser Clark's fighting October 25th. Jenny Tishikeba, another one of these in Derby. So yeah, dude. The Fabio Wardley fight, guys, versus Joe Parker. Dude, we got a nice little October ahead of us, boys. We got a nice little October. Just like Jeffers thought he could beat Willie, look what happened. I didn't tell you to take Jeffers. I told you Willie was the pick. Shout out to Makey Crazy as well for asking me to feature that fight. I had a lot of fun doing that fight. If you don't bet Dave, you don't like money. Dave is the best in shape he's ever been. History Vault, sell me, baby. We just disagree. Oh, I like disagreeing. I've been watching him fight for 10 years. Big clumsy stiff, Julius. I appreciate you, brother. Skeezy, Julius, that's fair, but if you compare stiffness between, that's what I'm saying. If we're saying stiff, Arslanbek is way stiff. Allen can box. He's just out of shape most of the time. Also, interesting odds for Barrera. That's right. Guys, right now, let's just pull these joints up. Since I don't know how to do share screen, you guys are just going to look at my screen on my other device. All right, guys. So we got Padley. So these three fights so far. You got Fawaz at 345, right? Padley, decent odds, money line or stoppage. And then Dave Allen currently is at $2.10. But it gets even more interesting. So I'm currently, like I said, finishing tape on Vasquez. Vasquez is fighting Tamir Smalls. Mate, those odds are wild to me. Like, you're talking about worth a sprinkle? Those odds are wild to me. Guido Vianella as well. Guido's a $2.40 dog. Like, those odds are crazy to me as well. So whatever side of the road you're on, whoever you choose to pick in the Barrera-Guido fight, the Dave Allen-Arslanbek fight, the Boston-Fawaz fight, whatever side you pick, there's money to be made is my point, right? And the one thing that we never have to do here is agree, because I know come this time next week, whether we agreed or not, somebody on this stream would have won a lot of money, and then the others would have lost. And that's based off of these conversations. So keep that in mind. And that's a good thing. That's what we want. We don't want an echo chamber. If you watch my Stats Don't Lie video series on my fight prediction playlist, the ones that are edited, where I break down the fights, it's one of the last things I say on every video. I say, after I give you my prediction, I say, you don't have to agree with me. This is not an echo chamber. Let me know who you think is going to win. That's what I'm talking about. We don't want to we don't want to hang out in a space where we're just all honey dicking the same people, or we're all just saying like, super glazing a guy. No, we need the pushback. We need the at least to challenge the thought. And I'm not always right. Nobody's always right. I will always tell you if I don't like a fight, and I will always tell you I'm not betting on a fight. So that's one thing. But nobody's 100% right. Johnny, have you always had that mic? Thought my AirPods sounded different, but it might be your mic. No, it's a new mic. I have a new device too, Skeezy. So I spent the last 6 months streaming on my iPhone. Now I just bought the newest iPad, and the iPad has it's this JBL. Mike Larry, what's good, Johnny? What do you think about Guido Vianella, Alexis Barrera? I like this fight. Let's pull up something real quick. Let's see Guido. Guys, we last saw Guido. We featured Guido when he fought our boy Kiki Torres. So we did our film study. We broke Guido down. We like what we see, man. He has a lot of skills. Whenever you come through that, I will never say because said fighter is an Olympian, he's going to win. I will always say, whenever you come from an Olympic pedigree, you have some skills to you. You obviously have a skill set. You obviously have a discipline about you. Just to become an Olympian, you're going to bring to the table a certain sort of group of skills, one of them being discipline. So that's why I reference when fighters are former Olympians. I know some guys will reference, he's a former Olympian, so I'm siding with him. That's not what I'm doing here. Whenever you hear me say Olympian, I'm more focused and interested on the habits, the discipline that got the person to become an Olympian, because it's a tough thing to do. Kiki Torres lost a 10-round decision. Pretty wide scorecards. Kiki did what he wanted with him, but, he couldn't get him out of there. Vianella has a little bit of class to him, man. He has 3 losses. He's been stopped once. He lost a split to Ajagba, FA, and then he got stopped against Jonathan Rice in the 7th round. Eye cut from a punch, but it was from an eye cut. So his one loss that was stopped by the ref, it was from a punch that cut his eye, so it wasn't like he was comatose. Keep that in mind. That's important. And this is why I referenced Dave Allen. He's been stopped multiple times, but Dave Allen has never been on the canvas. Never been knocked out cold, never been unconscious, never been on the canvas. Allen's been stopped on the stool and then stopped standing. It's important to reference these things, because if you're just going off what you see on BoxRec, oh, he has 2 losses. He's been knocked out twice because he has 2 knockout losses. You got to look a little bit deeper than that when you're doing your film study. And so Alexis Barrera, 12-0, 10 knockouts, 6'4" Canadian, 30 years old. I got to watch tape on him, guys. And this is my own ignorant ass. I could be ignorant. I could be ignorant, meaning that when I see when I see Barrera and I see he's Canadian, I'm instantly thinking, oh, this dude. Never mind. I'm just trying to clown here. So he has 37 pro rounds, okay? The last time we saw him was against Resendez in February. It was a 10-rounder. He's had all 4 rounds, 8 rounds. What's his best win? What do you guys make? Have you guys taped him? Has anybody here taped, truthfully, Alexis Barrera? What have we seen? If you've taped him, what have we seen? Because I've taped Guido, and I like Guido Kabox. I like Guido. Guido's quickness and agility will be the X factor. Alexis has some Olympic experience too. I don't like him. PJ, I don't like him. He couldn't even beat Torres. Couldn't even beat Torres. Kiki Torres will be I think Kiki's going to be a world champion, PJ. Guido can't fight on the inside. Allen going to be picking himself up off the canvas. Mike Larry, talk that shit, Johnny. Yeah, he's Canadian. I'm just saying, I would never. We'll just talk. We're around the water cooler. I have to watch this. I have to watch the film. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight to make money. It's going to be one of these things to where, like we said, this time next week, some of the boys would have won, some of the boys would have lost, some of the boys would be like, "I told you so," and some of the boys would be like, "I got it wrong." So Chris B. Barrera is good. I just don't think he has any cardio. Okay, he 6'4" southpaw, 30 years old. He only has 37 pro rounds. That kind of bothers me a bit. It's only a 10-rounder. 37 pro rounds. Guido has double the pro experience, 75 pro rounds. Guido's the bigger guy, 6'6" versus 6'4", 79-inch reach. I like Guido here, guys. Unless I see something on the tape in which I'm like, holy shit, Alexis Barrera is the real deal. Unless I see that, and it's not my official pick, I like Guido here. Guido's the one coming off. Guido has lost 2 out of his last 3 and 3 out of his last 6. That could have something to do with the odds. You know what I mean? Since 2023, he's 3-3. And so the last thing he wants to do is go into this fight and lose again. Has Barrera ever been knocked down? Has anybody watched tape on this guy? And then what else we got here? We got someone get knocked out. So right now, Padley, somebody asked me about Josh Padley. Padley by knockout is $4.90. Alex Barrera is nice too, though. I have to do more research on them. Alex's jab, right hand is money. Okay, yeah, David, I'm doing the same thing. Like I said, right now I just got done currently rewatching Usma Lima versus Aaron McKenna. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do because there's a lot of money to be made. Did anybody here watch Junaid Boston versus Bilal Fawaz 1? So TJ from Chilltown, he messaged me. He talked about, watch the fight, Boston versus Fawaz 1. He said that Fawaz won that fight. And so right now off jump, I still have to watch it. He says that Bilal Fawaz at $3.45 is kind of crazy. What do you guys think about that? Is that a hot take? Does anybody agree right now with the fact that Bilal Fawaz actually beat Boston in their first fight? Bilal Fawaz looks like he got Marab-type cardio. That's always a good sign. I love when fighters weaponize cardio. Bilal's 9-1-1. He's a 5'11" fighter, 37 years old. Born in Lagos, Nigeria, fights out of the UK. I like his size, man. 5'11". The scorecards on the draw, 95-95, 97-93, 94-96. Okay. Boston 10-0, 5'11" as well. He's only 23. Okay, so this is the kid. All right, Starboy. Yeah, I've seen him fight before. I watched he was on an undercard. He was on an undercard of, I think he fought Summer. He was on the, we watched the Starboy fight. He was on the undercard of Catterall versus Regis. In that Pat McCormick fight. Oh, God. Remember that fight, boys? Rambler. Vianello's definitely on the juice. I remember watching him versus Jay McFarlane. He was not explosive back then. PJ, he was coming on at the end, and I agree. He's a B. I think Boston is decent and can improve more, but I don't think he's going to be world class. Fawaz should have won. He has an awkward style. I just can't back Padley by knockout. Bell isn't. Yeah. I'm just going over those odds. I know some of the boys online were taking Reese to beat Gardner. I keep receipts whether we win or lose. Just go, the playlist is up. Stats online. I told you I like Gardner. I like, we had Gardner to stop Bellotti. The question then you got to ask, how would Gardner, and we don't like doing, triangles, but Gardner versus Padley, how do you rate those guys? Because Gardner stopped Bellotti. You know what I'm saying? Are people on Pally because of the Shakur fight? Bellotti fought way more notable opponents. Bilal Fawaz beat Boston easily. Yes, Alexis got knocked down in the Ubaldo fight, but they didn't count it. Dave, this is why, dude, the chat here is amazing, boys. You see this? David, thank you, brother. I asked, had Barrera got knocked down before? He said, yeah. He said against Ubaldo. They didn't count it. PJ, Starboy might learn from his last fight and beat him. First fight, Starboy was beating him in the first rounds. He got tired. Is Zaquin Moses the real deal? I think he is, man. I think he's a real deal, man. I like Shakur's cousin. Zaquin Moses, Zay, is fighting on the undercard of Ennis versus Lima. I did a feature on him maybe 3 years ago when he was in the amateurs. There's a young fighter named Emmanuel Chance. That's how I first heard of. I was doing a feature on Joseph, the young kid. He's been on my channel before. I've talked to so many fighters. He's only 18 years old, from British Columbia. He trains with Jose Benavides and Joseph Brown, the prodigy. And through Joseph Brown, you know, Manny Chance, everybody that I've talked to in that amateur scene, the American amateur scene, talk about Zaquin Moses is that dude. So I think he is that guy. It's, you know, you don't want to rush him. He's young. We'll see how he comes along, but he ticks all the boxes. He's a good fighter too. Fawaz was making Boston eat right-hand sandwiches. Rod Rivas, what's up, Rod? History Vault, Skeezy. Padley are hyped on Padley due to the Chamberlain fight. So you guys thinking that Reese Bellotti could beat Padley? And you know what? It's not. That's not out of the question, actually. It's not out of the question. What are we talking about? 2 years ago, we knew who Reese Bellotti was. 2 years ago, we didn't know who Josh Padley was. See, that's a very important question to ask. Are we just raise your hand? Type a 1 in the chat if 2 years ago you knew who Josh Padley was. Type a 2 if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is interesting. It's that Shakur fight, and then it's what he looked like recently. I think it's also with Reese getting stopped against Gardner in the 12th, which was kind of like, eh. Yeah, we covered the Aqib Fiaz fight in 2023, the Jordan Gill. Yeah, I've been watching Reese for like 7 years. But it's like, how many people knew of Josh Padley before the Shakur fight? You got to also ask yourself, though, the turnaround. You know, Reese is 34 years old now. The quick turnaround after a 12-round long fight in which he got stopped. Yeah, the fight's definitely made for Padley to look good. But just because we haven't heard of a fighter doesn't mean they're not really good. We know about how corrupt boxing is. There's a lot of really, really good fighters that you and I don't know because they don't have marketing, they don't have a promoter, they don't have anybody backing them. You know what I'm saying? So, Mark Chamberlain, you guys would have seen the Mark Chamberlain fight, though. But other than that, not a lot there. It's a good question to ask, mate. It's a good question to ask, Skeezy. It's a good question to ask. Is it, you know, we have to pose that question. We can't just sit here and say Josh Padley is going to start Reese. We can't do that. Alexis got knocked down in the Ubaldo fight. Rambler. I prefer 2008 Adriana Lima. Who you putting on your parlay this week? PJ, baby boy. I'm going to be sharing it soon. It's my Monday morning. It's your Sunday night in America. Wherever you guys are, I appreciate you. We got a lot of work to do. As you can tell, this is school. School's in session with all of us, right? We got film study to do. I want to know if anybody, I think maybe the dogs are barking with Bellotti versus Padley. Guys, there is a lot of money to be made this week based off of what we're seeing right now with Vegas. Manny, same. Adu, I'm confident Padley was impressed me against Shakur, who was Bellotti fought. Yeah, that's what I mean. You pull his box rec up. you know, the when I first heard of Padley, or when I first heard of Bilotti, it wasn't necessarily for a good thing. It was when he was a big favorite, and he lost to. It was in 2020 during the pandemic. Padley more skill, but Bilotti's a dog. PJ, so this would be Padley's step up fight. Nah, Padley already fought Shakur Stevenson. This isn't a step up. You go 9 rounds with Shakur, there's no more step ups. You know what I'm saying? He already fought Shakur. Clifton Dennis. Oh yeah, appreciate it. Had to get it cut. My girl, I had to go out this weekend and I had to dress up, so I have to look presentable. Clifton, easy money, please, bro, put us on. I'm tuned in. Yeah, man. So we're getting it. We're getting it, Clifton. We're an hour in. It's the start of a new week here. We got a lot of boxing coming up. We're going over the current odds. The odds are probably going to shift, guys. So right now, like I said, I think that fight goes over, guys. I think Jaron Ennis versus Lima. I think you'd be ill-advised to think Jaron is just going to knock Lima out. Do me a favor, all of you guys who think that Boots is just going to knock Lima out, watch Lima versus Aaron McKenna. The over right now on Ennis versus Lima, the over at 7.5. You almost get 1-1. It's $1.90 right now. Reese Bilotti at $3.40. This is interesting. Will the fight go the distance? Reese Bilotti versus Padley, $1.44. Yes. Okay, so a lot of people aren't seeing the stoppages. Would Bilotti beat Shakur? Hell no. No way. Guys, PJ, Bilotti didn't beat Ryan Gardner. Ryan Gardner stopped Bilotti. Reese has beat some decent guys in the last few years. Yeah, but as of late, you know what I'm saying? I think psychologically, David, he was going into the Ryan Gardner fight. I think it was a 50-50 fight. And they were fighting for that beautiful British belt, the British Commonwealth belt. That it's one of my, other than the WBC Green World Champion belt, my favorite in the Ring Magazine belt's obviously classic and iconic. But I love the British Commonwealth belt. That one is off of the hook. And they were fighting for that, and Bilotti all week going into the Gardner fight was saying, this is it. If he said if he can't get past Ryan Gardner, it's probably time to start thinking about hanging him up. And then, do you remember how you felt 2 weeks after? It seemed like it was 2 weeks after he got stopped against Gardner, when we saw that Eddie Hearn announced that Bilotti was fighting Padley in October. We were like, what? So, with that in mind, I don't know, man. Josh is 29. Reese, we'll see. Bilotti's plus 300. Yo, last week Javier Santana movement should have told me it will win. He opened at 350. We talked about it, Santana. I brought this up in my live, Javier Santana. I didn't bet it, but I will bring every time I look at the odds going into every fight, I will bring up questionable odds to you. It doesn't mean I'm betting on every fight. And I talked about that Javier Santana fight. I was like, this shit, mate. I think he was like plus 450. Johnny, I think Padley is a safe pick. He's fighting lower level to Shakur. He's at a higher level than Bilotti. He's better than Bilotti ever. I do. Yeah. Surely Allen versus Arslan doesn't go the 12. What do you think will happen in that fight? Well, Adu, I like Dave Allen to beat Arslan Mabek. I'm already getting plus money, so I don't like getting greedy on method of victories if we're already picking an underdog. Because on paper right now, Dave Allen is the underdog. I think the odds are probably going to shift. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, if we could do a screenshot in time, which we do because this video will be up. Right now, Dave Allen's $2.10, 100 on him to win. You get your money back plus 110. And so I bet you going into fight night, it'll probably be split down the middle. Will the fight go? I'm already getting Allen at plus money. Will the fight go the distance? No, $1.30 yet. So that's out the window. So obviously all the money's coming in that the fight's going to get stopped. If Dave Allen wins, does he win by knockout or does he win by decision? Maybe on a separate bet. But guys, if you want Dave Allen by knockout, it's $2.90. If you want him to just win on the money line, it's $2.20. The 70 cents really isn't worth, because if the 70 cents, if you're doing your logical reasoning based on that and you're doing a standalone bet, a standalone bet to me would be find an underdog that I feel could win and go super heavy on it just to win. You're already getting plus money. I would do that with Dave Allen, and I'd be comfortable doing that. I think, like, that's I'm sold on this. You know what? We're locking that in right now. I'm locking this in right now. I'm putting it up in the Discord. I'm putting it up on my Instagram story because I've already done film on this. I haven't recorded my prediction video. I'm getting Dave Allen right now, $2.10 to beat Arslan Mabek. Right now, on paper, that's my upset of the week. But I think we're gonna have a couple upsets, guys. Like I said, as I wrap this up, I think Guido Vianello at $2.40 is a good dog to bet on. I think Jaron Ennis by decision is a good prop to bet on right now. I think Bilal Fawaz at $3.45 against Boston is a great underdog to bet on. There's a lot of money to be made here. And, you know, Guido, we talked about Guido, and that's already 3 fights. So here we go. I'm locking in Dave Allen. I'm locking in Dave Allen. I'm going to post that. Guys, I got a lot of film study to do. I appreciate you guys. Hit the thumbs up. All the new Johnny Says Boxing Insider VIPs, I say thank you. Our Discord's growing. Our membership service is growing. If you haven't become a member, that link is pinned in the comments section. It's a couple bucks a month. Gets you a membership here. You support me. You support the channel. You get access to the boys in the Discord. Stay tuned. We got 2 live streams tomorrow. We got at least 4 Stats Don't Lie videos to upload. Those are my predictions. Also, so you never miss those, hit the notification button. Whatever boxing content creators you guys follow, just go support us. What you do is, as you already follow them, you can hit notify, meaning that, so when I do put a video out, you'll be the first to be notified. All the insiders already get notified, so that's another perk. You guys get the first sneak peek at all of my videos. So I say thank you.